Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bunny Says, and we're here for another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. Now we're on Fritz's route, and last thing I remember, we were having a discussion with Fritz, and he was asking us if we trusted him. And it was a big problem because Varg was starting to Varg, his sort of alter ego, was beginning to take over. And normally he would come out at nighttime when Fritz went to sleep. But now he's starting to actually appear during the day. Which means he's beginning to take control over Fritz's personality, his body. So at some point we had a discussion with him, and he swore again that he swore his life to us. The problem is that, when he turns into Varg, that no longer counts, or we can't be sure of that. So it was an interesting dilemma for Lucette. Now, okay. Let's just get into this and let's start doing this because I want to see what's next going on. Now, she ran back to her room and stayed there after Rod and Emmeline had escaped the palace. Well, hopefully they have. I'm assuming they escaped and got to the Marchen. And we stayed. Now, we know that Sir Alcaster and Sir Methros were plotting against the king. And Sir Methros is plotting against Sir Alcaster. He swore to us that he wouldn't let he wouldn't let Sir Alcaster harm the royal family. And a part of me wondered, well, what about someone else? Maybe not Sir Alcaster himself, but, maybe he'll try to cheat his way out of that. But also, Sir Mithros revealed that our mother was still alive, in a way. She fused herself with the Tenenbaum the crystal. And she's still alive inside the crystal. And Mithros, on our 18th birthday, brought us there to our mother. And we were having regrets, but we couldn't help it when we touched the crystal, and it seemed to start draining us. Draining our life force. And I don't know, after that we ran off, and I was wondering if our mother would appear, like our mother would be resurrected. So, okay, let's start here. Opening my eyes and moving my body is a struggle. I feel sluggish and numb, and there is this suffocating heat in my chest that makes it feel difficult to breathe. Now we're in our bedroom. When I finally do rise, my thoughts are tangled and confused. Where am I? Oh, it's Varg. Oh, wow, God. He took his mask off. It's Varg without his mask. He says, "She lives." I turn my head just in time to see Varg rise from a chair just to the side of my bed. Has he been sitting there watching me? And he's not wearing his mask. What are you doing here? You've been out for a week, Princess. What? Wow, okay. Wow, a whole week, huh? Alright. A week? I think I would know how long you've been playing Sleeping Beauty. After all, I've been here the whole Varg quickly clears his throat before gazing down at me. an exasperated expression on his face. Do you even remember what happened? Memories suddenly flood through my mind. They are fragments, but together they create a startling picture. Sumithros, in a room. 12 chimes of the clock, my 18th birthday. The Tannenbaum, and Mother. I sit up immediately, only to succumb to a wave of nausea and dizziness. Much to my surprise, Varg reaches out to steady me, his grip firm but gentle. Slow down, princess. You're not ready to fight me yet. What time is it? Almost on. Will he become Fritz again in a few hours? Or have I lost Fritz forever? Would you believe me if I told you Fritz doesn't want to see you? What? Really? The awareness of my last conversation with Fritz hits me full force. After what happened the last time we spoke, I am not surprised if Fritz does not want to see me. He was too ashamed to face you. I had no idea Fritz would react the way he did to your words. I have most of his stronger memories. Not all of them, but most. I thought he'd have most of mine too, but I guess that's not the case. What memories do you have? That's none of your business. The expression on his face is clouded. For a few moments, he is silent, thoughtful. In the beginning, they were mostly of you. What? Rod glances away. I notice the way his fingers drum uneasily on his cane and stare. I have never seen Varg look like this. I carefully slide my way over to the edge of my bed, allowing my feet to dangle to the floor. Fritz cares for you, princess. Take my word for it, if no one else's. Why is he suddenly telling me all of this? Will I ever see him again? Or has he lost to you? Varg flinches back from me, taking a few steps back to put some distance between the two of us. I can't say. I watch Varg closely. I'd never noticed before, but Varg's emotions are very clear if you know what to look for. He seems like he's... Okay, we have a choice here. Press him, I'll leave it be. I'll leave it. He seems almost like he's beginning to fuse into like one... Like Varg is becoming more like Fritz, and I don't know. Like maybe they're fusing together a little bit. I'm gonna press him on it. You cannot say, or you won't say? Princess. The gentleness with which he says my title makes me think of Fritz. However, just as I am beginning to hear Fritz's voice through him, his demeanor changes once again. The vulnerable man disappears, and is replaced by the usual facade. Varg straightens and glares at me. He displays his confidence to hide his true emotions. It seems like he wears two masks. You're more like Fritz than you would care to admit. Fritz would never harm me. Varg snarls, but he no longer intimidates me. Fritz this, Fritz that. All you ever talk about is that idiot, even though I have been the one by your side this entire time. Fritz is nothing compared to me. Then why do you feel threatened by him? My words render Varg speechless. I dimly notice the patterns of red dawn scattered across my room. The sun is almost up. I look back to Varg, my eyes seeking Fritz. Varg moves, his eyes fierce as he closes the distance between us. I do... Oh, God, wow. What a shock. Okay. He grabbed her and kissed her. Varg presses his lips to mine, effectively stifling the rest of the word. I have only a moment to gasp out for breath before Varg kisses me again, more deeply. That's sort of shocking to me. I hadn't thought of the idea that, well, because he's partly Fritz, that he might be in love with her too, that Varg might be in love with Lucette. I have feelings for her, I raise my hands to push him away for a brief second as my mind hazes over in shock. Varg takes advantage of my confusion and moves forward again, an unreadable expression in his eyes as he leans over me. I try to pull away, but Varg tangles his hand in my hair, tilting my head back to press his lips firmly against mine once more. No, this is not right. I tremble as his free arm sweeps down my back and eventually comes to rest at my waist. Why is he kissing me? He doesn't even like me. Anger clears my mind. I ball my hands into fists and shove at Varg's chest. His eyes are bright and out of focus when I am able to look into them. His chest betrays his labored breathing. I wipe the back of my hand against my mouth as I glare at Varg. I do not trust myself to speak without screaming at him. Coherence slowly starts to filter back into his gaze. I can see the awareness in his gaze, along with guilt. I suddenly realize that my cheeks are now wet with tears. Why am I crying? Varg takes a step toward me, even though he does not utter a single word. I can see from his body language that he means to apologize. He reaches a hand out as if to touch my face. No! I move back and close my eyes. Adiuva! Oh well, it worked. Fritz is back. He says, Lucette? I open my eyes when I hear the familiar voice and watch as Fritz quickly rushes to my side and kneels in front of me. Wow. That worked. That worked. His hands cut my face as his thumbs brush against my cheeks, wiping away the tears that I cannot stop. What did he do, Princess? Fritz. I feel suddenly overwhelmed, like there is too much whirling in my mind. I am not sure how long we sit there together. It feels short, like a single moment, but it could have been an eternity. I'm sorry, Princess. I shake my head in an attempt to clear my fractured thoughts. Fritz frowns, but the expression clears as he brushes my hair away from my face. His fingertips gently trace my cheeks as he speaks. I failed as your knight. I should never have left you alone that night. I could have stopped all this from happening. All I have done is cause you pain. And this past week has been hell. I didn't know if you'd wake up or if I would be able to be with you again when you did. He looks at me, his expression grim. And I wasn't there when you did. Frog was. You finally know about him? Fritz nods as he gives me a pained smile. No apology could ever be enough to excuse what I did to you. I doubted you that night because I thought what you were saying was impossible. I wondered how I could be cursed without knowing about it. But now, I hate myself for treating you the way I did. I must have put you through so much suffering because I did not believe you. I know I have never been worthy of you, but now I have betrayed the trust you had in me. He drops his hands and pulls away from me. I don't think I have the right to be called your knight. I reach out and grab his hand without thinking. Don't say that. Fritz looks at me in shock. His wide-eyed gaze only makes me feel embarrassed, and I have to focus to keep from floundering. After a long moment, Fritz manages to smile at me. It is small but genuine. I don't deserve your kindness. Kindness? Is that what this is? We sit together in silence for some time, enjoying each other's calming presence. My room is quiet as the sun steadily starts to rise. Do you know what has happened during the last week? I'm afraid not. I wasn't myself for the most of it. He is fading even faster now, and just when I feel that I've truly started to know him. I've already told you about the disappearance of the prince and the princess, but it seems like the queen has gone missing as well. Well, Aphia is missing? I could only hope that they made it out alive, and that Rod led them back to the Marchen. There, they will be safe. I did not think I would ever trust anyone there, and I still don't, but Parfait said that the Marchen is a place evil cannot overtake. And whether or not Varg is truly evil, his mission is to kill them. I can at least be sure Parfait will protect them. Fritz, King Gennaro is still here, but he is different. He is not himself. And what happened? It's your mother. The day you fainted that same morning, your mother returned. I could only stare at Fritz in shock, knowing that what happened that night wasn't just a dream. Everyone in the castle is acting as if nothing is wrong. It's like the last 4 years haven't happened. But the instant I saw her, I recognized her. And after that, well, I don't remember what came next. My next conscious moment was today when I saw you. Wow, he's been Varg that entire time. That means Varg is really taking over. Fritz raises his hand as if to touch my face, but he abruptly pulls it away. He flinches, then doubles over, his face contorting with pain. No, not now. I won't let you. His eyes are cloudy, his gaze turned inward. He is speaking to the other side of himself that I cannot see. I reach out to him and try to call him back. Fritz. He looks up at me and attempts a sad smile. He is trying to make it seem like he's fine. When he speaks, through gritted teeth. I'll never let him hurt you. Can you trust me about that at least? Yes. Lucette. Oh. The shadows dance around him, almost tauntingly at first. Then they simply engulf him and Fritz disappears into darkness. I take a step back. No, it's Frog again. Frog. I hate to interrupt. You again. I snarl at him, but Frog merely shrugs. He looks indifferent, as if what transpired between us before never happened. I have things to do today. Frog turns away and walks briskly out of my room, without glancing back. Okay, we're in the hallways of the palace. I make my way through the hallways of the palace, determined to find Sir Mithros. Over the past few months, I have been all but invisible to the people in the palace. It allowed me to pass undisturbed. I'd always figured it was because no one remembered who I was with my curse. But today, things are different. A maid sweeping the hallways jumps at the sight of me before quickly curtsying. Your Highness. Oh, so everybody is remembering her now. Her eyes are downcast, and she does not look up at me as I pass by her. As I walk past her, two other servants heading my direction also move to the side of the hallway. Your Highness? Your Highness. They remember who I am now. But how? Has my curse somehow been broken? I spend the entire morning searching for Sir Mithros, but he is nowhere to be found. The only room I have yet to search is the throne room. I push open the doors and walk inside. There, I am met with an unexpected sight. We're in the throne room now, of course. The king sits on his throne, his posture regal, but his eyes downcast. Majesty. He does not look up when I enter, but I can see that his eyes are stony, unmoving. I approach him cautiously, and upon closer look, I notice how his eyes look so empty. It's almost as if he cannot see me. I inhale, and something catches in my throat. My heart begins to beat rapidly. What have they done to you? Mithros. My princess? It's Mithros here. I whirl around and see Sir Mithros approaching me with a smile. Where did he come from? I could have sworn there was no one else here when I entered. Sir Mithros? I was just on my way to see you. Frog just told me you had awakened. What is wrong with the king? Physically, there is nothing wrong with him at all. Anger begins to burn within me. You swore that you wouldn't harm him. Is he not alive, my princess? Take a good look at him. The king is completely unharmed. Oh, I knew it. Oh, look at that, see? The change in Sir Mithros' expression is subtle, but I can feel the malice in his gaze. I should add that it was difficult to keep this promise, princess. My queen will be having words with you about this. Mother? Where is she? She has left the palace for the time being. You've been unconscious for a week. My queen could not spend every moment fretting by your bedside. But didn't Varg say he was the one to stay by my side? I shake the thought from my mind. When will I be seeing her? At dinner, I assume. Now, if that's all... Wait. Sir Mithros pauses abruptly to look at me. The servants I met in the hallway seem to remember me. How? You really cannot guess? He sighs as he runs a hand through his hair. When you turned 18 to become the Tannenbaum bearer, the curse that the lesser witch cast on you broke. What? Moments before your mother woke, you were the strongest witch in all Vangel. The lesser witch's spell could not have any effect over you. Oh, okay. Congratulations, princess. You are no longer a victim of the curse. Your life is back to the way it was before. Now, is there anything else you would like to ask me? Yes, there is. About Fritz. I have a choice. Remove his curse, or how do I break his curse? Well, I should be able to break the curse if I'm strong enough, so how do I break his curse? Much to my astonishment, Sir Mithros begins to laugh. The sound is cruel and so sharp and deadly it cuts through whatever hope had been forming in my heart. You wish to break his curse? Oh, princess, you should have told me earlier you cared so much about the boy. Perhaps then I would have tailored his curse to your requirements. Poor, upstanding, chivalrous Fritz. In many ways, he was too much of a knight for his father's liking. Sir Mithros leans closer to me, so close I can see a crazed gleam in his eyes. Yeah, he doesn't look too good there. Mithros, would you like to know why I cursed him, princess? I remained rooted in place, but not flinching away from Mithros is harder than I would have thought. Sir Alcaster approached his son for help, expecting him to help kill the king and take over the throne, but Fritz refused. Sir Alcaster needed an obedient servant, and Fritz deserved to be punished for stepping out of line. No. And so I removed those memories of Alcaster telling Fritz of his devious plans, and gave him the curse. Fritz has the Little Red Riding Hood curse. There is, after all, no better servant than the big bad wolf. Oh. He has all the power and drive of a predator, but is still so obedient. Wolves are closely related to dogs, after all. And better yet, the big black wolf will always stay close to the lady he desires to devour. I can feel disgust seething in my stomach. I have created the perfect servant for Sir Alcaster. In short, Sir Mithros suddenly reaches out a hand to grab my face by the chin. He forces my head up at a painful angle. How dare he? What if my mother gets to him? There is no breaking his curse, princess. Not unless Fritz is somehow able to mentally overpower Varg. And we all know how formidable Varg is. What? Sir Mithros releases me. Oh. Okay, well. Now put the idea out of your pretty little head. Don't you already have everything you've ever wanted? He smiles wryly before turning and walking out of the throne room, leaving me alone and trembling. To break the curse, Fritz has to overthrow Varg in his own mind. A sudden cold descends upon me. I wrap my arms around myself and shudder. I turn to look at the king, but he has not moved since my encounter with Sir Mithros. Your Majesty, did I do this to you? Mother. If she were here, she could make sense of it for me. Mother, where are you? I stare at my now trembling hands. This is not what I wanted at all. Okay, we're out in front of the palace here. The palace gates. Princess, we cannot... There's some knight here. I am the crown princess. Which is why we cannot allow you to leave on your own, your highness. That's knight A and knight B. Just two random knights. It is strange to think just a few months ago, these same men did everything they could to keep me out of the palace. Knight A. Your Highness, you'll need an escort if you want to leave. I can take care of myself. Okay. Here's Varg, with his mask back on. Back to being the nuisance, I see. Sir. They know who he is? The knights, that is, know who Varg is. I watch it in stunned silence as both soldiers salute to Varg. Varg turns to smirk at me. Well, what's going on here? Knight. The princess wishes to leave the palace to visit the town. Does she now? I could feel Varg's eyes on me, but I refused to look at him. Fine, I will accompany her. But the queen said... The words die in the man's throat as Varg turns to glower at him. His eyes flash with impatience, and it isn't enough to coax the soldier into silence. Open the gates. Yes, sir. The gates swing open. I rush out, thinking that maybe if I move fast enough, I could lose Varg. Okay, we're in town. And we're getting past 30 minutes here. I really want to know what we're here for. My middle one. So what are we here for? Though I tried my hardest to shake him, Varg is still irritatingly close. It is impossible to leave him. Princess? Varg leans out and wraps his fingers around my elbow, pulling me to a stop in the shadows of an alleyway. Okay, I better stop here, because this looks like it's going to go on to something. Yeah, okay. Alright, I better do that. Okay, well, let's stop here. I'm sorry. Thank you for listening, if you've been listening. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here and listening to this. And I hope I'm improving and getting better. But you know, I'm hoping that, and I hope you're enjoying it. So I wanna see what happens more. So okay. I hope that I'll see you again next episode. So thank you for being here, and I'll say goodbye for now.